Hi, I'm Nora. This is my friend Kate.
Hello.
Kate asked me a good question. She has a friend who wants to use the approach that I train people in to learn a new language. But she's like, Nora, you got all these videos up there, but like, what is the general idea of this approach? Like, what's like a basic overview? And I'm like, I don't have a video like that, so now we're going to make one. All right. So here we go.
Yeah.
Before I get into jargon, the basic principle behind this approach is that we want to understand before we speak. Because people think that if you learn to speak, then you can automatically understand stuff. Not so. And it's like super important to be able to understand people when they talk to us. Blah, blah, blah. And stuff about listening being very important, because it is. Right? So, and when we understand before we can speak, we can like get all of these words and all of this cultural information into our brains. And like when we need them, if we practice, they'll just come like popping out when we need them, as opposed to like just cramming a bunch of stuff right into our mouths. Like I meet people and they're like, teach me how to say, where's the bathroom? I'm like, okay, I can teach you how to say that, but what you gonna do when they answer you? And they're like, oh yeah. So understanding comes first, and it's gonna make us a better speaker of the language. But really, it's not about speaking a language. It's about making friends and building relationships. And we can't do that if all we can do is blah, 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 but not understand anybody. Okay? So, that being said, the fancy technical term for the approach I use is comprehension-led language learning. It means we understand first. And so there are these people who are like my language learning heroes, Greg and Angela Thompson, and they're my heroes. They have taken this idea of comprehension-led language learning, and they've brought all of the current research in how people learn new languages and put it together into a really cool approach called the Growing Participator approach. So the idea is that we're always growing, but we're not just growing in our ability to yammer at people. It's our ability to participate in their lives, hence participator. Okay? But just think, comprehension-led. So Greg and Angela, I love you if you're watching this. I doubt it, but you might be. And they're amazing. So, and the thing that I love the most about this approach is that I've been reading Greg's stuff since like 1991. And the thing is that his stuff keeps changing because they'll go somewhere and they'll start learning a language as a family. And then like some stuff will work and some stuff won't. And then they'll change it. And then he'll read 97 journal articles about what's going on and what we're learning about the science of learning a new language, because it's a science. Boy, I'm yammering at you. I'm not really allowing you to participate.
I'm practicing my listening skills.
Oh, okay. I'm allowing you to listen, so we're good. So anyway, so this approach keeps changing. So it's about understanding first, and then being able to talk to people and to talk with people. And it's about doing it with people. So the heart of the approach is that we're doing this with people. Okay? I'm not doing it with a computer program or an app. I'm doing this in relationship with people. So, Growing Participator approach is what it's called. Greg and Angela Thompson, my heroes that have come up with it. Want to read more about it, you can go to this tiny URL right here, and Kate's going to help me put the link below this video. And if you're like me and you can't like read stuff and figure out how to make it work, they have demo videos, and you can see Greg and Angela on the demo videos. Kate will also help me put that link.
Yes, I will.
In the comments.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so what else should we say?
Well, let's say that they've read the things, watched some videos, and now they're ready to start themselves. What's like a first step that they could do?
Okay, So the first step is you need a team. You need a team of cheerleaders. People that you're going to like email every so often, maybe once a week, and say, hey, I did it. I got with my language parent. And people that are going to be like, yay, you can do it. Don't give up. Okay? Because we're fragile when we're learning a new language, and it doesn't take much to discourage us.
Sure.
So we really need to be surrounded with a team of cheerleaders. So that's first thing. Find a tribe. Find a team of cheerleaders. Mm-hmm.
So this method, you have like a language parent. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, I'm calling them language parents. A guy named Chris Lonsdale, he wrote a book called The Third Ear, which you should read. And he has a TED Talk about it too. The Third Ear. He uses the word language parent. I like that because these people, they're certainly not teachers, right? They're coming alongside me. They're playing games with me. They're being super patient. They're being really nurturing. And so that's kind of like a parent, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm going with the term language parent these days. You'll see lots of other terms, but I'm liking language parent.
Okay.
Yeah, so you find one of them.
Yeah, how? How do you find one?
Okay. So there's a bunch of different ways, right? So let me just tell you some ways that I've found them. I went to mylanguageexchange.com. I'll put the link in the
description.
Kate'll do it. When I was looking for someone to help me learn some more Iraqi Arabic. And I just put out there that I was, looking for someone to help me learn Iraqi Arabic and that I wanted to do it live. And so this Iraqi guy messaged me and so we started working on Iraqi Arabic at the public library. So that's one way I found it. Other ways I found recently language parents, when I wanted to start learning ASL, I live in a town that has a pretty good sized deaf population, and a good friend of mine works at a college that has an ASL interpreting program. So I just wrote up this flyer, which we can put a link to the blog post that has the flyer in it. So many links. So many links. So I just wrote up this really simple flyer, and she sent it to a contact of hers at the college who sent it out to a bunch of people. And it was just like real simple. Language friend wanted. I never say I want a teacher because I don't want a teacher.
Sure.
Because with this approach, we're playing games, we're doing things, and they're way different from any kind of traditional classroom. So somebody who's like really into the traditional way of doing it, they're probably not going to be a good language parent. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a kindergarten teacher might be a good language parent because that's what we're talking about, like playing Simon Says and charades and Pictionary and Battleship and Guess Who. So my language exchange, sending out a flyer, just getting the word out that you want to learn this language by playing games, and that you don't want a trained teacher, and that you just want somebody who's super patient and who has time. And so if you've got networks of people, I don't know, you could try Facebook. If you're in the country where the language is spoken, I've had people just look for me there. So one of the people I coach, she prayed, what should I do to find a language parent? And she felt like God was telling her to go to the market and talk to everybody that she knew that spoke English and tell them that she wanted to learn this Asian language. And she found this amazing language parent who was just beyond amazing, so there's that too. And your team of cheerleaders, if they're people that pray, they can pray for that.
Cool. So let's say they found a language parent and they've read the material and they have like the dolls and the props and stuff, but they're having trouble just making the plunge and making that step. What's some motivation for them to get started?
So the cheerleaders that you're reporting to every week say, yes, I did it, no, I didn't. Honestly, I make an appointment with this language helper. Like Ammar was going to meet me at this library, and I didn't want him sitting there emailing me saying, "Where you at?" So I just make an appointment. And do I feel like going? Oh, no, I do not. Oh, no, I do not. Not even a little bit,
Yeah.
and then I go. Or like Trisha, that's helping me with ASL, I pay her because she's like, we're doing it like 20, 30 hours a week. Um, and then like, well, at first we went to this community center to do it, but she's waiting for me there, right? And if I'm not there, she's texting me. And now she shows up at my house, and like I really want to cancel and I don't feel like doing it, but she shows up at my house, and then I'm super happy once we go ahead and do it. But it's nerve-wracking for everybody.
Yeah.
So just like making an appointment and doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having to do it.
Yeah. So, I guess my last question is, what are some tips that people know that they're doing it right? What are some signs that you're on the right track? This is what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay. If you are laughing a lot when you're playing the games with your language helper, that's a sign you're doing it right. If you're like always kind of at the edge of what you can do, like you're doing stuff that you couldn't do by yourself, but you can do it with your language parent's help. So it's not too easy, but it's not too hard. You've got to do it together. This is Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. But anyway, this is your growth zone. So stuff you can't do quite by yourself, but you can do with another person's help. So that's a good sign. And if you're growing, so if you're learning to get at least a vague understanding of about between 8 and 12 new words per hour with your language parent, then you're growing at a pace that's going to keep you encouraged and your language parent encouraged. Because if you're not making any progress, that's like super discouraging for them too, because they see it as a personal failure. So you got to be making some kind of progress. So yeah, I think those are the things. You're laughing. You're only doing what you can do with help with your language parent. Somewhere between 8 and 12 words understanding, and not like a perfect mastery understanding, but just like if they say the word, you can point to the right toy on the table or point to the right picture in a book, or just have a vague understanding. So about 8 to 12 new words an hour. And that's how you know you're on the right track.
Cool. I think those are my questions.
Yeah? Does that give enough of an overview?
Yeah.
Well, let me just talk a little bit. Okay. So the other thing about this approach is that you're growing, right? So when I took Spanish, and I loved Spanish, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my Spanish class was the same every semester, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learn list of vocabulary, learn grammar rules, love the grammar rules, and then do exercises with the grammar rules. And it was the same the whole entire time. In the growing participator approach, in this comprehension-led language learning, we don't do that. Because, we're like babies growing. And at each stage, we can do something different. So at the very beginning stage, we're mostly listening and just doing a little talking, and we're playing games. We're playing a lot of Simon Says and doing some charades. And then in the next phase, we're using picture books. And first I start out talking about everything I can see on the page. And then I learn new words from the stuff on the page, but the pictures on the page are still helping me. And then in the next phase, we're talking about shared stories, stuff we both know. So like if we went out and did something together, then the next time, like, I don't know, we went and got pizza or cooked some food, which would be a really big deal for me because I don't cook. So like that'd be like a big event. And then if the next time, my language parent like talked through what we cooked and how we did it, and I'd record it and I would understand that because I was there,
Mm-hmm.
or like maybe they would tell me Cinderella, or like, Yeah, some story we both know. And so that's that phase. And then the next phase is where it gets really interesting. It's where we start listening to people's life stories and just hearing what, you know, what a typical day in their life is, what's their whole life story, what's a shortened version of it, maybe what's the best day you ever had, what's the worst day you ever had, and listening to people. And then recording this and working with the recordings, and then with the language parent, and then like telling it back to him the next day, to keep getting our tongues loose, but also to show we're really listening. This was the phase that a person, well, it wasn't in the interviewing phase, this was still in the picture book phase, but they were drawing pictures of each other's life stories. And the language parent told her life story, and a lot of it was awful and difficult. And then the next day, my client, in her just broken language, told it back as much as she could. And her language parent said, "Oh, this really is about you getting to know me and not just about the language." And that was just a big aha moment, because it's a gift we give people when we listen to them. I mean, it's a gift that when people listen to us. So that, and then, you know, the hardest phase is where you start like watching TV, or the radio, or reading, you know, hard stuff in their language. And then after that, you're just always growing, because it never ends, right?
Yeah.
As long as we're with people that speak our new language, we're always growing, or we can always choose to be growing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing. You know, that the activities change over time. The Growing Participator manuals will give you lots of details about that. But it's really cool, because I don't know, it just works.
Yeah.
And it works for me, and I stay motivated because there's a person. There's a person coming to my house, so I got to do it. Or I'm going to their house, or we're meeting at the library, or we're doing this over Skype or something. But it's not like I've got to sit down and play with this app for 30 minutes. That I can't make myself do.
Yeah.
But when my friend is waiting for me, that I can make myself do, even though I'm a huge introvert.
Yeah.
As well, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the basic overview. If people have questions, I would so love to hear them, because I will absolutely make a video about it, because I don't want to make videos and write blog posts about stuff people don't want to know.
Exactly.
So it's helpful to me, and so anything that didn't make sense or you want to hear more about, leave it in the comments, which will be down there, right?
Yeah.
Is that how we do that?
Yeah, that's what YouTubers do.
Oh, that's what YouTubers
Down
do?
below.
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber now. Yeah. Yeah. So, thank you, Kate.
Yeah, my
For
pleasure.
helping me do this.
Yeah.
And I hope it made sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did. You're good at this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love helping people learn new languages. And I absolutely believe that everyone, no exceptions, can learn a new language.
Yeah.
Everyone.